Harper Lee is To Kill a Mockingbird. It all starts with a broken arm. And a really simple question: how did it happen? Well, that question is our doorway back in time, pulling us into a story about growing up, about innocence lost, and about the tough realities of the American South. We're going to explore how one quiet town, a mysterious neighbor, and an explosive trial changed absolutely everything for the Finch family.
So, right from the get-go, the entire book is framed as a mystery, a broken arm. But the real question isn't just what happened, it's why. Our narrator, Scout, is looking back, trying to follow the breadcrumbs that led to this one violent moment. Did it start with the town's worst family, the Ewells? Or did it all begin with a simple, childish dare about a neighborhood ghost? This opening sets the whole thing up like a puzzle we have to solve. All right, so to figure out how we get to that broken arm, we've got to go back. We need to step into the world where it all happened. Maycomb, Alabama. It's this, tired old town, and we see it all through the eyes of our narrator, a 6-year-old spitfire named Jean Louise Finch, but everybody just calls her Scout. She lives with her big brother Jem and their dad Atticus, who's not only a lawyer, but pretty much the moral compass for the entire town. At first, the kids' world is pretty small, It's basically the houses on their street. It's a life full of routine, guided by Atticus's quiet wisdom and their Coke Calpurnia's loving but firm hand. But then, one summer, 2 things happen that just completely electrify their world. First, a new friend shows up, this incredibly imaginative kid named Dill. And second, they all get a shared, terrifying obsession, the House of Boo Rag. I mean, think about it. Every childhood has a monster, right? For Jem, Scout, and Dill, that monster's name is Arthur Boo Radley. He's not just some guy who keeps to himself. No, he's a full-blown town legend, a malevolent phantom. The stories about him fuel all their games, all summer long. And their mission? It's simple, and it's terrifying. They have to make Boo Radley come out. Scout's first day of school is basically a crash course in Maycomb's super rigid social code. And it's not just about being rich or poor. Oh no, it's about character. You've got the Cunninghams. They're dirt poor, but they have integrity. They always pay their debts, even if it's with a bag of nuts. And then you've got the Ewells. They kind of live outside the rules of society. And this difference between being poor but honorable versus being poor and a disgrace is a lesson that's going to come back in a huge way. So the kids' world of summer games and neighborhood rules is about to collide head-on with some very serious, very adult lessons. Their father, Atticus, he can see a storm brewing in Maycomb. And he knows he has to teach his kids what it means to have real courage. And here it is. This is the moment the storm hits. Judge Taylor assigns Atticus to defend Tom Robinson, a black man accused of assaulting a white woman. Now, you have to remember, this is the segregated South in the 1930s. This isn't just another case. It's an act that's going to force the entire town to look its ugliest prejudices right in the face. Atticus knows exactly what's coming. Threats, insults, the works, but he takes the case anyway. And this is the question that really beats at the heart of the whole story. What is real courage? For the kids, especially Jem, courage is about physical stuff, being tough. But Atticus, he has a completely different idea, and he's about to show them exactly what he means. Atticus gives them this incredible definition, and it comes after he makes Jem read to this really mean old lady, Mrs. DeBose. What Jem doesn't realize is that she's a morphine addict, and she's fighting like hell to die free of her addiction. Her fight, just like Atticus's in the courtroom, is a battle she knows she's probably going to lose, but she fights anyway. That, Atticus tells them, that is real courage. It's not about holding a gun, it's about holding onto your principles, no matter what. So everything has been building to this. The whole book pivots right here, the trial of Tom Robinson. The whole town packs into the courthouse, and up in the balcony, Scout and Jem watch their father try to do something that feels totally impossible: get justice for a black man in a court run by white men. Okay, so Atticus's defense, it is so simple, it's brilliant. Miella Ewell was beaten up mostly on the right side of her face. That means whoever did it was probably left-handed. But then Atticus has Tom Robinson stand up, and everyone sees his left arm is totally useless, just mangled from an old farm accident. He physically could not have done it. And get this. Beyond that, the amount of medical evidence the prosecution brings forward? 0. Zilch. Nada. Not a single doctor was called. The entire case is built on the word of Mayella and her father, Bob Ewell. 2 people the town knows you can't trust for anything. Until now. Atticus says this line in his closing argument, and man, it hits you like a ton of bricks because of the double meaning. On one hand, he's saying the facts are simple, Tom is clearly innocent, but on the other, much uglier level, he's saying the case is also simple because it all comes down to a black man's word versus a white woman's. The truth doesn't even stand a chance.
The verdict, of course, is exactly what you'd expect. Guilty. But it's how Scout knows what's coming that's just so heartbreaking. She's watching the jury come back in, and she remembers something her dad told her. A jury never looks at a man it has convicted. And not one of them, not a single one, looks at Tom Robinson.
But look, this story is far from over. In fact, the verdict just pours gasoline on the fire. For Jem, it completely shatters his faith in justice. For the town, it shines a big, ugly light on its hypocrisy. And for one man, well, it sparks a burning desire for revenge. And you can really see how the verdict just rips through the town. For Jem, it's just total devastation. He just keeps saying, "It ain't right, Atticus." Meanwhile, you have the town's supposedly good Christian ladies talking about helping people in Africa while gossiping horribly about their black neighbors. And then there's Bob Ewell. He won, but Atticus exposed him for what he is, and now he's out for blood. And Bob Ewell's not just talk. He loses his job for being lazy, but blames Atticus. He tries to break into the judge's house. He starts harassing Tom Robinson's poor widow on her way to work. You can just feel it, right? It's all escalating. This is not going to end well. And this is it. This is where everything comes together. The two big storylines of this book, the trial and the Boo Radley mystery, they're about to smash into each other on a dark walk home from a school Halloween pageant. Just picture this. It is pitch black. Scout and Jem are walking home alone. Scout is stuck inside this ridiculous, giant ham costume, so she can barely see or move. They hear footsteps behind them, getting faster. Then there's a struggle, a fight, and then suddenly a fourth person is there in the dark. The attack ends, and all Scout hears is a man coughing as he carries Jem home. So when the dust settles, the scene is just chaos. Jem is unconscious, and his arm, it's badly broken at the elbow, just like that very first sentence of the book promised us. Bob Ewell is dead under the tree, and standing silently in the corner of Jem's room is a man Scout has never seen before. A pale man she doesn't recognize. And the man in the corner? The hero. It's Arthur Boo Radley. The neighborhood phantom, the monster from their games, is the one who saved their lives. They spent all that time trying to make him come out, and when he finally did, it was to protect them. After she walks Boo home, Scout stands on his porch for a minute, and for the very first time, she sees the neighborhood from his perspective. She sees her whole childhood laid out before her, and in that one beautiful moment, that huge lesson from her dad about empathy, it all just clicks. She finally gets it. You know, early on, Atticus tells the kids it's a sin to kill a mockingbird because they don't do anything but make music for us. They're innocent. Tom Robinson was a mockingbird. Boo Radley was a mockingbird. And so the novel leaves us with this huge question, one that sticks with you long after you close the book. Who are the mockingbirds in our lives, and what are we supposed to do to protect them?